All right, ready, steady, go. How are you all doing? I welcome you all for this one day, one runner habit series for the whole month of April, where each and every single day I present to you all a runner habit and give the perspective for the particular habit from a runner's mindset and also share some of the tips and techniques how the same can be applied in your own business and in your own life. This is Karthik Viswanathan, and today is day number 26, meaning it's habit number 26. And the habit for today is all about like enhancing your work life passion balance. Right. So, from a runner perspective, this is something, it's just a kind of, it's been like nurtured or taken care on a day in, day out, week in, week out, month in, month out basis, having a good balance, enhancing the balance of your work and your life and your passion. From runner's mindset, like here the passion would be referring to maybe this walking, jogging, or running, or an active lifestyle for that matter. And also like these runners would be working in a different environment, maybe like they would be working for another employer, or they might be having their own business, or their work might be like study at this point in time, so or a research at this point in time. It's just purely like depending upon in which stage of life they are going through. So that's one. And obviously they would be having their own family, their loved ones, their pets, their kids, their parents, their grandparents. So all these vital and joyful relationships in their life. So that's a thing we are talking about. And so from a runner's perspective, yes, this is, as I said, it's all interweaved within our lifestyle. How? Most of these runners, like what we would be doing is like that will be kind of a bit of a pre-planning, meaning like in the whole year, like how many half marathons that what we are going to do, or how many full marathons what we are going to do, so or how many 5 kilometers, or what is my goal for this particular year. So that will be a kind of a vague idea, at least to start off the year, that we would be having it, because that will be helping us to plan for the training, and that will be helping us to plan for the travel if it is required, and that will be helping us to just make ourselves a good person with more physical abilities and also more mental abilities, right? So that pre-planning helps up a bit. That's how we start doing it. And next level, next layer of our detail, like when we just go down into these trainings or anything, so we'll be having a set routine with these plans, like leading towards a half marathon, or leading towards the first 5 kilometer, or leading towards a first 10 kilometer walk, jog, or thing. So whatever it is, like that will be a plan, and you'll be trying to stick to that plan consistently. So meaning like, okay, that might be a long run every single weekend. So it might be on Sunday. So Sunday mornings are dedicated for running, or in this case, our passion. So in that way, like every week when we just look in our own life schedule, like with our own family commitments, with our own educational or study commitments, or a work, or when we are working with an employer, we'll be thinking, okay, so we would be going for training on, say, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays and Sundays, right? And there will be like a couple of rest days, and that's a kind of a planning that will be going into our week. Whether we would be sticking to it or not, that is a second story, but we would be trying to stick to that particular routine. And most likely, like once you get into the rhythm of really going and training for these events, or for that matter, then you would be really knowing around which time that you would be hitting the training the time, or a training session, whether it is morning or an afternoon or an evening, depending upon your day. Like maybe like Mondays you would be doing in the evenings, and then during Wednesdays you would be doing in the mornings, depending upon the commitments. And the Saturdays you might be going for a park run in the morning. So or in the weekend you might be going along with your running club members, maybe at 6 o'clock in the morning. So it's all initially you'd be thinking like, how are we going to do it? But once you start going in and getting that rhythm and getting that pattern, then you would be knowing at which time that you're going to commit to it. And by doing that, like you would be a bit more open about your movements across the week, across the month. So in that way, like we would be letting our family members know that we would be just going and doing this particular training with this particular person, or in that particular gym, or with that particular group. So that will be a rough agenda for us. And the same way, most of the runners we at least like myself, to to take to give a real example, I would be definitely discussing my movements with my wife, and then we would be just working together to just see like how this is going to be working out for me and also for me in the terms of the training, and definitely how it is going to, how I'm going to add more value in her timings, her activities, her work and everything. And also like we'll be trying to come up with some kind of an adjusting plans around it. So that's how like we'll be trying to balance it in terms of our life, because I really, for my priority, it's more my first priority would be always family. So in that way, like how am I going to shape around my time, shape around my day according to that, the same way like every runner would be having their own priorities too. So that's how like we mingle all these things together. But it might be from an outset, it might be looking like kind of like they're juggling with too many things, and then once you start closely following them, they would be having the set pattern and sticking to the routine and committing their own self during those training sessions, during those work time. Like okay, we would be doing the work, certain times you would be seeing like people will be going for a lunchtime run while they are working on their day from 9 to 5 job. So they might be really focusing from 9 to 12, they might be taking a break at 12 to 12:30, they go for a run, and then they can come back and they can have a quick snack. They won't be wasting time in their unnecessary breaks. So those kind of things. So that's how we balance the time. In the same way, like we can allocate the time to our own family members or the life and the passion that what we are following, which is here it's running, walking, jogging, and active lifestyle. So that's how we do it, and we would be enhancing that one every single time. So just because that we got a plan, that does not mean that every single time we'll be sticking to it. And just because of that we are trying to do this balance act, that does not mean that we will be doing it well each and every time. So there will be some mishaps happening. So but we acknowledge that and we try to enhance it. In that way, like we keep this cycle going on, we keep this pyramid just building up and holding it intact, right? So that's how like we enhance the work life and passion balance. And when we take this habit of enhancing this work-life passion balance, and let's apply for this entrepreneurial journey, like as an entrepreneur, like how you can just able to get this act together, like as an integrated lifestyle. So yes, I do understand that like so many people, like we would be having our own passion would be the business, and the work is also would be the business, but definitely we would be having our own family members so to take care of it. Because my personal opinion or my personal perspective of this one, because everybody will be having their own perspectives, my personal is like we need to have our loved ones, like when we have a huge success or when we have some milestone wins in with our business, right? So definitely like allocating those times and having spending that particular quality time with the family members is far more important for me. So in that way, like we will not be having any regrets in terms of missing out few things. And also like in terms of like when you just keep on working. So but if there is any special passion element that you might be missing in the last few years after kicking off your business, so you can also go your life without any regrets. You can just give it as a bucket list if you wish. You can just give it a go and see the passion how you're following through. So couple of tips like where you can really starting to consciously starting to hold this balance of this work life and passion balance. The first and foremost would be like trying to understand how your time is being spent on a regular basis. So time management, in other words, would be like crucial one. So please make use of the calendar well. So whatever the tool that you're using to manage your own time, the calendars would be of a good bet. So where you can just lock in some time, some focus time, some uninterrupted time for doing your own core passion work, for your own core business operational task, and then you can schedule few things in depending upon your peak or peak mindset or a peak intellectual set. Like say you might be a morning person, so you might be saying that okay, you'll be doing these specific business oriented things only during some maybe from 6 to 6:30 in the morning. So that kind of a thing, and then you can give your time to your own family from 6:30 to till 9 o'clock, and after that you can just kick it off your own business. So you can start to create that blueprint by making use of your own calendar. So start looking into that calendar, and then in that way, like you can start to prioritize it. So look into the calendar and start to make those appointments. Like then in that way, like you'll be knowing how your week is booked out and how your week is going to behave, at least like at a first stage. And we always have a plan, right? Until we go to get punched on the face, right? That's one of the famous saying from the boxer. So Muhammad Ali. So that's one of my things. So let's have the plan, even though when we get punched on our face, let's have this plan with the calendars and then try to prioritize it. So whatever you're having in the calendar, just to think of like in your business, whether that is really, really relevant, whether that is priority for this particular week, whether it can be pushed up to the next week, or whether it is in lining with the strategy for that you want to achieve in this particular quarter. So in that way, like you can really, really get that particular prioritization well. In that way, like first thing you can decide like whether that particular conversation or an activity that needs to be happening in your own business first, and if so, how many people or whichever minds are relevant to that particular conversation. You don't need to include each and everybody in your team, or you don't need to just get your mentor in every single discussions. So or you don't need to get your investors or a business partner in every single discussion. So you can just prioritize it, prioritize the total work, and prioritize your time, their time, and then the needed people time. So in that way, like your calendar will be really looking good, and it will be having some quality time meetings for your work, and that will definitely give the structure, because you need to just lock in some family time, which is like no disturb time or something like that. So go for the your own preferred methodology or your own preferred mechanism, and then go for it, right? And please track it and improvise every single week. Just give it a go. Initially it might be a bit of an overkill to just block your time, and then you will be starting to see the pattern, how it is going to yield more and more benefits for you. It will save more time than the time that will be spent for the planning. So go for it, definitely make use of it. And in that way, like you would be knowing like which areas are really flourishing in your business because of this time management, and because of giving the proper life balance. Because the moment you start giving some more time to your own core family members, and then the passion, that drives some positivity, and that energizes you, that refresh you every single day, and that will be letting you to just unleash yourself into your own business well. So that's the whole benefits of this one, and that's why like I really emphasizing this one a lot. So that's balance is so crucial for you all, for us all in that matter. As an entrepreneur, I could also vouch for that, right? So let's see like how we can make use of this particular habit, or how we can start improvising or enhancing our work life passion balance as a normal individual. Like say I can be like focusing as a normal homemaker, like I can be focusing on a health, wealth, or relationship, whatever it is. Like how can I just really, with my all these things going across, I'm just working for an employer, and then my family comes in, and then I really have a passion somewhere around, but I can't really just figure out all these things. I really wanted to start a business for a while, but I'm not doing it. So those kind of things, right? So first and foremost, right? So whatever you do, start doing with an intent. Whether if you're going to spend some time with your family, do with an intent that you're going to really spend some time with the family. So don't just physically present there and then mentally present somewhere else. Try to bring yourself back in. We are all humans, we would be diverted. I'm not an excuse at all. I'm not an exclusion at all. I'm not an exception at all. That's what I'm trying to say there. So I will be also getting deviated time to time. So I need to just bring myself back into that particular conversation with my family time, with my conversation with my wife, with my parents, with my kids, with my friends. So that's what we need to do it back again. So that intent would really help us to just bring that ourselves back in the particular game, in that quality time. So you may say like I'm spending like 5 hours every single day with my family, but how quality time, how much quality time that you're spending with that 5 hours is what far more essential. So just figure it out, right? And second thing, like one of this question is like asked me a lot, like how am I just able to juggle up all these things? I just purely like I'm still first thing, I'm still learning. I'm making a lot of mistakes, but still learning a bit in this time management. So one of the key takeaways I can give it to you all is like start to find your time, create your time, right? Just look around, like observe your day with unjudgmental curiosity. Don't feel guilt for yourself. Just observe your day within, just for yourself. just for the sake of yourself. Don't defend, don't give any excuses. Just observe and say that yes, this is something like it is really productive. This is something it needed to be done. This is something like it can be waited. You can put it on hold for at least a week or a month. So in that way, you can definitely create some pockets of time, right? Maybe in your early morning, or maybe after 9 o'clock, once you just get your family time, once you're spending some family time, and after that, like instead of watching some binge watching some kind of thing, you can start spending a half of the time that what you're watching, what you're doing as a binge watching or endlessly browsing, those kind of things. Just have us create that particular time, and then you can really spend on your own passion, right? And each and every single time, whenever, whether you're working from 9 to 5 jobs, and then whether you're spending some time with your family or spending time on your own passion, make the time count, right? So what I mean, I can give an example. Like you might be spending some half an hour on a learning a course. You would have taken a course on your own marketing, or you would have taken a course on creating some digital designs. Yeah. So, or you might have taken a course of how you will be enriching your financial well-being, or how you can just do the investing. So any course, like if you're doing that, just try to make the time count. Fully focus on that. Try to get yourself enriched. Like don't physically present there and mentally let your mental mindset waver somewhere on the other thoughts. Like in that way, like every single time when you start doing it, then you would be knowing, yes, you are spending the time. You could have spent the time on your family. You could have spent the time at your work. You could have spent the time on your own other side things, but you decided to spend the time on that particular event, whether it is a guitar session, or whether it is an art sketching session, or whether it is a kind of a cooking session, or whatever it is. Just make the time count, right? So do it with an intent. And if you don't, if you're just claiming that you don't have time, I definitely bet you at least like you can create 15 minutes from your whole day when you start looking into where or what are all the time that going wasted. Go for it, right? There will be some time wasted. Go for just on the check and prioritize it well and make that time count. And that's how like you can really start to balance it out. You can really start to balance your work and your life, and also your passion. So in that way, like you can really starting to have that balance day in day out, right? So this work for me personally, work life balance is an art. It's not something a complicated algorithm. It's not a complicated scientific rocket science or something like that. It is a kind of an art. So one can really master the art by practicing day in day out. Just go there and then start to practice that one intentionally, and the joy will definitely follow that. Right? This is Karthik Viswanathan, and please do me a favor. Going forward, whenever you see a jogger, walker, or a runner on the street, in the gym, in the park, anywhere, right? Just wave at them, give a thumbs up to them, just nod your head with an acknowledgement, and put a big smile on your face. So that will definitely lift their spirit, and also that will be definitely lifting your spirit. And this rapport between you and that particular runner will definitely instill a kind of a positivity and a joyful zeal over there, and that will definitely go for a long way on that particular day. Thank you so much for listening to this. This is Karthik Viswanath, and until the next one, bye bye.